You're welcome to this news hour on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, a 6-year-old child dies in electrocution in the northwest regional chief town, Bamenda. The child was electrocuted to death earlier today in the town of Bamenda. We'll bring to you details in this edition of the news. The governor of the Littoral region, Samuel Dedoni Vahadiboa, top administrative authorities examine the security and socio-economic state of the region and highlight some challenges that the region is facing, but says globally the region is stable. We begin this newscast in Takmulung neighborhood in the northwest regional capital Bamenda, where a child has been electrocuted to death. It happened earlier today. Details with Immaculate Fogwe. Immaculate Fogwe with that report on a child, a 6-year-old child, was being electrocuted to death in the northwest regional capital Bamenda, and that occurred around 2 p.m. Today when the child came in contact with naked electric cables, which led to the electrocution, and he died. Details in this report.
The sudden death of 6-year-old Jess Navas, living in the Tamalung neighborhood, Bamenda 2 subdivision, has left his family, neighbors, and friends in shock. Jess Navas was electrocuted as he came in contact with an electric cable while he was playing in a room with his peers. According to locals, the room had been left open after a tenant packed out a month ago.
It's a very shocking news. I don't know. I'm speechless, really.
It is a shocking incident. I saw him 20 minutes ago and I gave him Scotch egg. I was later informed that he was electrocuted at the neighbor's house. Few minutes after we arrived at the hospital, we were told that he is dead.
They say the pulse was stopped. I had no choice.
I was informed that he was electrocuted. When I arrived at the hospital, I was told the child is dead. If someone has a hand in his death, then that person will know no rest. But if it's God's will, then I believe he knows why. The child was buried immediately in the compound. Inhabitants blame the owner of the said room for being negligent.
Truck drivers go on rampage in Cameroon's economic capital Douala over an administrative decision which they consider as a violation of their rights, and they're protesting against that decision, saying that it's going to have a serious consequence on their activities, which will go a long way to hinder them from making income, from putting food on their table and continuing with their activity. The decision, of course, was taken by the senior divisional officer of the senior divisional officer of the Wuri division, and they are urging the administration to pull down that decision. They blocked the entrance into the town over the weekend. Smanjika Gabriel has more.
It was a difficult Sunday night for passengers entering or leaving Douala as the main road was blocked by angry truck drivers.
Si nous tous nous sommes mobilisés ici,
if we are all mobilized here, it is to show our disapproval of the senior divisional officer's media release that forces us to work only in the night rather than in the day. Douala is a port city, but unfortunately, the senior divisional officer doesn't want us to work.
Malheureusement, j'ai comme l'impression que la décision préfectorale n'a pas impliqué les acteurs du secteur de transport, plus loin même l'administration de transport.
The truck drivers are not happy with the decision taken by the senior divisional officer. saying they have to come into town only at 11 p.m. This decision, according to the senior divisional officer's release, was taken because most accidents caused are linked to these trucks entering into town on top speed every day. An accusation debunked by the driver's spokesperson.
Je voulais dire ici que
Dog passing market on the road, stores on the road, but the transporters are suffering. A decision taken without our presence is against us. We have decided not to enter Douala and won't go out of Douala. This is to attract the attention of the STO. Hope they will take a U-turn on their decision. In an attempt to calm down the angry truck drivers, the divisional officer of Dibamba pleaded with them to open the road while they sought for a way out of their preoccupations.
D'une décision du préfet de DIEUWOU,
Though I haven't read through the decision, I requested that they should at least allow circulation. I have calmed them down and promised that I will meet with the SDO, with whom we shall resolve their problems.
Soyez-en rassurés, jusqu'à présent, la circulation a déjà été rétablie. Nous allons résoudre cette situation certainement avec nos patrons et d'autres personnes également.
The truck drivers say until the senior divisional officer reverses his decision, no truck will leave or enter the economic capital of Cameroon.
And the governor of the littoral region of the Republic and top administrative officials of the region in Konsamba examining the security and socio-economic state of the region, and some challenges were highlighted by the governor while speaking to the press. Challenges in the areas of security and of course social life within the communities in the region. And the governor, however, said that globally speaking, the region is in a stable state. Take a listen to Governor Samuel Dieudonné Hadibwa.
As far as this meeting settled by our authority, we have to evaluate every 6 months how the situation is going on the field. At the political level, we can say that the political parties have been working without any constraints. And at the level of administrative authorities, we can say that we are accompanying the development of our cities, and we are also working hand in hand with these health services to combat this coronavirus. And we can say that the rate of the people that are infected is very low now, because we are no more having many cases of dead people. And in the field of security, we are taking measures so that our dwellers have to work without any fear. Every day they are going, they are coming, they are doing their business without any violent situations. So we can tell that the littoral region, by the grace of God, is just doing well. There is no fear, but we want to make our population to work very hard, because we have many challenges that are coming. And at the sport level, we are preparing the CAN competition which is coming, and we have a team of CAF is around us, and we have to be sure that we welcome our strangers the next months without any problem. The challenges is to make population to behave that vaccinations can help us to combat this coronavirus. The second thing is just to make sure that the populations are very good secured in our quarters, because we cannot say that there is no bandits around. They are with us, But all the bandits know that we are taking measures to make them keep aside, and they cannot hinder our economy as they want. So we are very proud of the behavior of the population of the littoral region as a whole.
The mayor of the Limbe 2 municipality in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, Chief Ndive Waka Daniel, reveals that internal revenue collection witnessed a drastic drop in 2020 as a result of the close to 5-year-long armed conflict going on in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, but also the coronavirus pandemic that came to further complicate the already difficult situation in which the council finds itself today. And the mayor was speaking during a session consecrated to the examination of the administrative and of course the administrative management and stores account of the council for 2020. Davidson Maimo Farsin, details from Limbe.
Despite hosting the National Oil Refinery Sonora, Chantier Naval, the Limbe Nautical Art and Fishery School, and the Limbe Omi Sports Stadium, all financially empowered parastatus structures, the Limbe 2 subdivision is still suffering from poor road network, constant flow of potable drinking water, street lighting, among others. Speaking during the first ordinary session of the council to examine the administrative, management and stores account, the mayor, Chief Ndive Waka Daniel, said the 4 years ongoing Anglophone armed conflict and COVID-19 pandemic has retarded the council in its quest to improve on the basic structures within the municipality.
We have the agriculture which is natural already to us, and we equally have a COVID pandemic that has made revenue collection to be very timid, at times not even effective. So with those challenges, it's difficult to retrieve revenue so that we can impact our population.
However, the mayor revealed, with indication things are slowly but surely going back to normalcy, the council has engaged in the planting of solar street light, boreholes to provide potable water as priority for 2021.
We are managing to satisfy our population with social amenities such as the roads, to electrify some quarters within the 2 municipality with 40 solar lights in boreholes, the rehabilitation of classrooms, some schools in the municipality.
The Limbe 2 council budget, which initially stood at 650 million CFA francs, witnessed an execution of 567 million CFA francs plus, with an excess of 23 million CFA francs.
Parents in Yasuku, a locality in the Senegal Maritime Division, littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon, are lamenting over the fact that their children are now obliged to cover long distances to be able to learn in schools in neighboring villages because the lone primary school in that locality has been shut down. Charles Sekome reports.
It's been almost a year that the pupils of government school Yasuka in the Senegal Maritime Division have not attended classes. This school, found in the Edeya 1 subdivision, has now been covered up by dense vegetation due to inactivity. Take a look at the school. For the past 20 years, this school has always been functional. The school has always had an enrollment of more than 100 pupils. My first daughter had a certificate d'études primaires here. Parents also say they have been suffering because the school is no longer functional, a situation which has pushed most of them to send their children to neighboring towns, while other parents with limited means and resources continue to watch their children stay home uneducated. These are my children. They are not able to go to school this year due to the closure of the government school. Despite other emerging problems in the locality, such as bad roads, the population continues to decry the present situation of no primary schools in the area. The least they expect and ask of the government is that government school Yasuka is once again functional in order to preserve the future of these children.
À Yasuku, en personnellement, nous voulons l'école.
We stay in the Senegal Maritime Division in the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroun. Now we are taking you to the Bongo village, where the people have stood up to say no to exploitation of the forest and natural resources by companies who are not respecting instructions and the laws of the land, which indicate that the communities where natural resources are being exploited are supposed to benefit from that exploitation. And the people of the Bongo village say the companies have been exploiting their natural resources, but they have not been benefiting a dime from that exploitation. And now they are saying the exploitation must not continue if the companies are not ready to ensure that roads are developed, roads are rehabilitated, roads are constructed, and other social amenities are provided. These details in this report by Fomi Armstrong-Sanda.
Nous oblige de pouvoir l'accepter parce qu'il y a le pouvoir public. Parce qu'on dit que bon, l'autorité administrative.
In the Bongo village in Nwanko of the Senegal Maritime Division of the littoral region of Cameroon, an abusive forest exploitation is unfolding, even at the detriment of the well-being of the helpless local population. Instead of living better from the exploitation of rich mineral resources found in their community, the people have seen their roads transformed into a pool of mud and bumpy track by timber exploitation companies. 12 years ago, this village was practically inaccessible. We in our pains wrote to the government on countless occasions to have the road open up. But within 6 months only, we have seen 3 enterprises getting particularly so interested in exploiting the wood in our village. Few months after others started exploiting the wood in our village, the road has been transformed into a pool of mud. We cannot use the road again.
Monsieur le sous-préfet, vous êtes venu par eau. Pourquoi? Pourquoi vous êtes venu par eau? Il y a une jolie route là.
One of the problems that pushed them to openly protest the DIEUWOU's announcement of the coming of a third timber exploitation enterprise in their community. Responding to the angry population, the DIEUWOU said he and his team did not come to the village to impose, but consult with the people on the merit and demerit of having another enterprise operate in their locality. Accused of the non-respect of the initial text defining their responsibility to the local population, heads of the exploitation enterprises say they have been doing their best to improve the state of the main road leading to the village, but the villagers have consistently been ungrateful.
Toujours confrontés à la résistance des populations qui estiment que nous ne faisons rien.
A narrative which villagers qualify as false.
On nous raconte beaucoup trop d'histoires.
They are determined to maintain their resistance till the last man standing. In the Bongo village, in the Senegal Maritime Division of the littoral region, like in the Bangangté division, Central region, and in the East region of Cameroon, extracting and exploitation companies are accused of abusive exploitation and the non-participation in the local community development.
Now to combine the mid-division southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where preparations heating up ahead of the burial of His Royal Highness Fon Emeritus of the Bafos in the southwest region. Fon V.E. Mukete, the former senator, the statesman, Senator Fon V.E. Mukete, gave up the ghost earlier this year, and he's due to be laid to rest on Saturday. That will be this weekend, of course. And the senior division officer of the Meme Division, Tundong Chamberlain, is spearheading preparations ahead of that burial and ensuring that the town is ready and that everything is set for the burial of Fon V.E. Mukete. The senator will be laid to rest on Saturday, as I indicated earlier. The senior divisional officer, Anton Chamberlain, and his collaborators were at the palace today in Kumba 1 subdivision, and they also went to all the areas of Kumba 2 and Kumba 3 to ensure that the town is ready for that important event, for that important ceremony that will be coming up at the weekend. Take a listen to the mayor of Kumba 1 subdivision.
Several of our statesmen and paramount fond of the Bafo people and chief of Kumba, the funeral which is like no one that we have had in the past, let's say 10 years. As municipal authorities, we were summoned this morning by the senior divisional officer alongside the DOs of Kumba 1, 2 and 3 for us to put our heads together and see the state of preparedness as far as this funeral is concerned. We have gone around the town. We started at Barombi to see the situation of the town, especially in terms of hygiene and sanitation. We have identified some of the places that are supposed to be, touched in the course of the week before the funeral. And I think this is the last stop we have made at the palace, in Fon's Palace, to see the preparation that is going on here too, and to see some security measures that they need to put in place, considering the high-profile nature of this funeral that is coming up. And I think we are very satisfied so far with the work that has been done, though we promise to fine-tune the preparation by taking care of some of those other works, activities that we have identified. And we are very sure that before Thursday, everything will be perfectly in place for this funeral.
Coming up in Talking Points, we are going to take a look at Africa's development drive and what is being qualified as the quest for wealth and borrowing strategy adopted by African nations and their leaders, and how that is contributing to further impoverish Africans and increase the debts of African nations, thus widening the gap between the poor and the rich nations. The Western world seems to be imposing on African countries, according to some analysts, debts that further enslave them and make African nations unable to take the giant developmental steps that the nations of the African continent are supposed to take in order to come out of what is considered today as financial and economic slavery and even political slavery in which African nations find themselves today. You will take a listen to Etienne Tshisekedi, acting president of the African Union, and of course the director general of the International Monetary Fund, and at the end an analyst, a Pan-Africanist, who analyzes the situation and proposes a way forward out of what is considered today as slavery.
We are gathered here to reverse what has developed as a very dangerous divergence between advanced economies and developing countries, especially Africa. We have to go back to the strong development Africa had before COVID, for Africa and for the rest of the world. And we have to put our resources strongly behind growth and social improvements in Africa. For us at the International Monetary Fund, what it means is extraordinary action. With the support of our members, we are putting forward a $650 billion new allocation of special drawing rights, lifting up reserves everywhere, lifting up reserves in Africa. Africa this year is expected to grow only 3.2%. The rest of the world, 6%. We have to boost growth public and private investments in Africa. And we can do that by mobilizing financing from international organizations, from bilateral donors, and of course from the countries themselves. We have the ambition to bring special drawing rights from countries like France that have strong positions to own land to Africa. And I am confident this is going to materialize for the sake of Africa, but also for the sake of all of us, because growth and stability in Africa means prosperity and stability in Europe.
Nous remercions infiniment notre cher frère et ami Emmanuel Macron pour nous donner cette possibilité de venir voir dans quelle mesure on peut lever des fonds pour l'Afrique, sauver l'Afrique, qui a été frappée très durement par cette pandémie, qui a laissé nos économies exsangues, car nous avions dû consacrer tous les moyens que nous avions, les peu de moyens que nous avions, à combattre, à nous protéger contre la maladie. Aujourd'hui, il est question de voir dans quelle mesure nous pouvons relancer nos économies. Nous avons visé le cap des 100 milliards.
Many of the people who are in power, they are the ones who are rich and they are wealthy because the power is consuming the wealth. But it is supposed to be knowledge-based economy that will drive the country. Go to Dr. Congo, we call it Democratic Republic of Congo. And you see the mansion of Mobutu Sese Seko, the former president. And you get to understand that wealth is not the answer. Knowledge is the answer. What Africa is doing, working with the head, as I'm saying, instead of looking for knowledge, relevant knowledge, and by virtue of that we will become powerful. That was what Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was preaching. And when we are powerful, wealth will be automated. We don't want to go through that. What we are doing today in this continent is we are looking for wealth straight away. And everywhere we go, we are looking for money. And the people out there, they are willing to give us loans. The more loans we collect, the more we impoverish the African continent. The more loans we collect, the more we are saying that our future generation is coming to be born in debt. As I'm standing, I have not gone for any loan. But by virtue of the debt of my country, I am a debtor. By virtue of the debt of my country, I am owing. And the amount is not going down anytime soon. It's rising every day. What it means is that my children will owe more than me. And my grandchildren will come and be in more debt than me. And the distance, the gap between the rich and the poor countries will continue to widen. Because if we don't want to go through this simple principle, economics 1, 2, 3, get the relevant knowledge, and by virtue of that, you will become powerful. And when you are powerful, you will get wealth. We have started only looking for wealth. But this wealth, if it is not based on knowledge, the power will consume it. This wealth, if it is not based on knowledge, power will consume it. Wealth without knowledge is not sustainable. Wealth without knowledge is not sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, rise and walk on your legs and not on your head. Let's stop borrowing and let's create that innovation through the search for the relevant knowledge, and we can be powerful. And at the end of the day, wealth will come. And I'm sure in the next 10 to 20 years, the West will be coming back to Africa for loans. And that is when we have said that we've found the right way to go. Apart from that, we will continue to borrow. And when we borrow, we spend. And when we spend, we impoverish future generations. And the poverty becomes a cycle. It is so cyclical and sickening. Break it, Zambia. Break it, Ghana. Break it, Nigeria. Break it, South Africa. Break it, Egypt. Break this cycle of poverty. And let's stop going for loans.